So today I'm going to be doing a bit of a different video. The YouTuber Tick History made a video saying that leftist socialists aren't stupid people. Well, this could likely be true, but he also says they aren't ignorant, paranoid, or delusional. They have to be at least one of these things. Like if Tick had simply made the argument for why they aren't stupid and left it at that, he would have a solid point. Many leftist socialists aren't stupid, but the ones who aren't stupid are either ignorant, delusional, paranoid, some, or all of the above. If they aren't any of the things I've just listed, then they are stupid. But maybe I just didn't understand the video, so I thought I would go through it, at least part of it, and see if I can understand his arguments better.
So I have a friend who's always been a capitalist and or conservative. And I haven't always been a capitalist. I've never been a conservative, but I've not always been a capitalist. So I was having this discussion with him a few months back, and he was saying how the left, everybody on the left, or the socialists, they're all ignorant, they're all stupid, they're all greedy, they're all evil, they're all, and he was going down on this list, and I was like, whoa, actually, no.
I can accept the fact that not all socialists could honestly be described in some of these words, but you make it sound like no socialist could accurately fall under any of these categories for any reason, which is just false. If they're not stupid, they must be ignorant. If they're not ignorant, they must be stupid. The only ones I would class as evil are those who know about the atrocities committed by the Soviets against the kulaks and other so-called counter-revolutionary elements, but they still think it's totally just how a bunch of these people were killed for not wanting to give up their property, nor all the goods they've worked hard for. To the socialist or communists, the general belief is that the kulaks deserved it, and that every atrocity committed by various socialist governments were totally just. And if you hold this belief, it's possible you might be evil, or hungry for power, or something close to that.
And I explained to him, hey, this is how they see the world. This is the leftist worldview. This is the socialist worldview. I explained it to him and said, hey, they're not any of these things. They're actually not. And so, and he was like, wow, oh yes, no, I get it now. And that's what I want to do today. I've actually held off doing this video for a while because that conversation was a few months ago. But I actually got a couple of comments in the comment section of my video the last few days. And so I think now it's relevant and now it's time to discuss this because even though this is not a history video and this is a history channel, it actually is related because, you'll see by the end of the video.
So you start by explaining the socialist worldview, and somehow in that context, the leftist socialists aren't ignorant, stupid, paranoid, or evil. And I would agree with you if the socialist leftists were really true, which based upon some modern day socialists and their rhetoric, I can confidently say that the leftist socialist worldview is not based on reality. So best possible case scenario, the leftist socialists aren't stupid or evil, but they are ignorant. And even then, I would say their ignorance makes them paranoid.
So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you the leftist worldview. And it doesn't matter if you're on the left or the right, by the way, because if you're on the left, I'm actually going to be defending you guys today. And if you're on the right, you're going to be learning things. Because I suspect that my friend is not the only conservative/capitalist who has never been a socialist. I have been a socialist. I was a socialist up until 2018. My private Facebook page, I need to delete Facebook, but my private Facebook page still says that I'm an anarchist/socialist, because obviously I read George Orwell, and I still do read George Orwell. He's still my favourite author.
So I'm a center-left libertarian, or a classical liberal. This means I am on the left, but it also means that I'm not a socialist, nor am I a right-winger. So it's possible it's not people like me you'll be defending, even though I am technically on the left, and it's not people like me you'll be teaching, apparently, just because I'm not on the right. That was kind of bad wording. Nevertheless, I will hear you out.
What sparked this video was a comment that I got from a few days ago, so let me just read the comment. So this was on a video called Getting Owned Over Hitler's Socialism, and it's by that guy. He says, I am more and more inclined to think people who support socialism must be checking one or more of the following points. And he says, dreamer, idealist, stupid, lazy, ignorant, lack ambition, lack willpower, want to rule over others, control freak, rude, narrow-minded, paranoid.
Like I said, I doubt there are any leftist socialists to whom all these criteria apply. However, if their entire worldview is full of falsehoods, then they're ignorant and possibly paranoid, and possibly even delusional. If they know the history of socialism but still want to try making it work, they are both ignorant and stupid. If they know the history of socialism and they want to be the leader of a workers' uprising, I'd say they are hungry for power. If they understand that the socialist mindset is false, but consider themselves socialists, then they're just stupid and ignorant.
He says, I am not excluding people of other ideologies to having these traits, but die-hard socialists I encounter keep living up to and adding to this list. I am sure more can be added. Obviously also positive traits, but these two lads in this video, he's talking about the two that I was responding to, certainly check several of these points, which they did. It's downright disgusting listening to them and how they're trying to disprove tick history. It's some of the most infuriating and dumb excrement I've heard in so long. The very fact that they love resorting to insulting instead of being civil just goes to show how far out of depth these guys are. They won't even listen to the whole video. They just draw a conclusion after watching a fraction of it. If anyone out there can take them seriously, it's insane. They don't check out the sources Tick references to, and they fail at their own definitions. They practically fail on every single point of being competent of analysing or critique anyone or anything by these standards. What a load of utter garbage.
Okay, I'd like to address some of these arguments later in the video, hopefully, so please remember this point in case I decide to do so, if it comes up again.
Now, if you've not seen the video, I'll link to it, but essentially what happened was I released a video, they responded to me, and then I responded back, and I thought it was one of my better videos, actually. But, yeah, so they are not atypical. I know people are like, why are you responding to them? Actually, I get these types of people in my comment section all the time. I've seen other videos by other people on the left, and a lot of them act in the same way. But again, I'm going to explain it all. So let me just go back through this list that he gave of all the points, and I'm going to tell you which ones I think are correct and which ones I think are incorrect. So he says that socialists are dreamers. Yeah, I'd say so. Idealists. Yeah, okay, that's fine. He then says they are stupid. No. Actually, no, they're not. We'll come back to that. He says they're lazy. No. Actually, no, they're not. Well, hold on, I know there's going to be people on the right, conservatives especially, who are going to be like, no, hold your horses, I'm not done yet, wait for it. He says they're ignorant. No. Surprisingly, no, they're not. He says they lack ambition. Nope. No, they don't lack ambition. I know there's going to be, as I say, there's going to be people already saying I'm wrong. Hold your horses, we're not there yet. Lack willpower. No. They don't lack will. Well, some of them do, but no. As a whole, they do not lack willpower. Want to rule over others? No. Control freaks? No. Rude? Yes, but only to you. Amongst themselves, they're not. Unless they catch a secret Nazi or something. Narrow-minded? No, not particularly. Paranoid? I'm sure some of them are, but not all. So, no.
I feel like a broken record at this point. I'm going to elaborate more on this further into the video, but basically the ones who aren't stupid must be either ignorant or paranoid, and if they aren't ignorant or paranoid, they must be either stupid or power hungry. I'll explain more as the video goes along, hopefully, if I get the opportunity. But yeah, sorry to say this, but again, keep this in mind for later.
So, yes, there will be people who are in that list, who are, on the socialist left, who are part of that. But what I'm saying is, for the vast majority of these, no. And as somebody who's on the right, that might surprise a lot of my viewers to listen to this. No, this is actually incorrect. And I'm going to explain to you why. So, the best way for me to explain this to you is to get you to imagine yourself in this world itself. So, you're going to inhabit the leftist worldview. So imagine that you're living in this world right now where everybody, and I mean everybody, is telling you that this is the way it works. So your friends, your family, relations, your neighbours, your neighbourhood, the city you live in, depending where you live. Like, for example, in the UK, if you live in Liverpool, this is taught to you, basically. Same with parts of Manchester and other areas of the UK as well. There's areas, where this culture exists. And I'm sure it's the same in other countries. Let's see, who else is teaching you this? So teachers, tutors, your colleagues at work, trade unions, the books that you read, the media that you consume, all types of media. Basically everybody is telling you that this is the way the world works.
So this is how I'm interpreting what has been said so far. Hypothetically, I'm living in a world where everyone close to me or involved in my life is feeding me leftist socialist propaganda, and this eventually becomes my own ideology because I don't know any better. Now, for me to accept this as simply being the way things are without doing my own research, that would be very ignorant. And if I know that indeed most of it was bogus, but I still wanted to be a leftist socialist anyways, then I would be stupid or brainwashed. For this situation to work, the socialist rhetoric I'm constantly hearing from everyone I know would have to be the truth, but it isn't. Therefore, the only possibilities are A, that I believe everything I'm told and don't question it, in which case I'd be ignorant and likely paranoid, or B, that I know a lot of it is bullshit, but I still identify with leftist socialism, in which case I'd be stupid or delusional.
So imagine a world where the system itself is rigged against you and against everybody who's poor. And so imagine a world where the elite, the rich and powerful, are in their castles, they're aristocrats, they are politicians who are conservative, right? They're the landowners, they are the corporation owners, they are the bankers, they are the financiers, you name it. It's even the people who you know who own those shops down the road. They are the people that are also part of the system that is exploiting you. And the way they exploit you is that you go to work, or you are about to go to work. Let's say you're a student. You know that when you come out of college or university, you're going to go and get a job. And when you work, let's say you work, just keep the math simple, for £10 an hour, or $10 an hour, whatever it is, you work for $10 an hour. What's actually happening though is that you've actually earned $20. But the only way that the exploiters get their money is by taking and skimming off the top. So they take half your money away and give you the peanuts at the end. They give you the £10 or the $10. So you've earned 20 for them, but they only give you 10, and they get to steal it all. And the worst part is, even if you go up in rank, let's say you get a job as a store clerk and you go up to the next level, and let's say you're earning £20 or dollars. Well, what's happening there is that you're actually earning £50 or dollars, and they're skimming off even more from you. So the harder you work, the more you're benefiting them. And all these exploiters and aristocrats and whatever else are all secret racists. Or if they're not secret racists, they're borderline secret racists. And they're even what they actually want is Nazism, which, by the way, is the end stage of capitalism. So the idea is that capitalism will eventually get to fascism, and fascism is obviously really bad, full of racists, and we don't want that. But the right wing are full of these Nazis or fascists or people who are just racist and just bad people, okay? And so they are creating the system, they are part of the system. And some of these people claim that they're not Nazis and not fascists and not racist, but they actually are. And so you're essentially working for the racists when you get a job, essentially. And so there's really no point in working. Like, just think about this for a second. If you work, you're benefiting the system that is exploiting you, and you're also benefiting the racists that you don't like who are in power.
So again, the wording is unclear. Are you saying to put myself in a position where hypothetically all these things are true, or just to put myself in a position where I hypothetically believe these things to be true? If they're actually true, well, that doesn't reflect reality. If all the socialist talking points were based on reality, then yes, socialism wouldn't be stupid or ignorant thing to involve yourself in. However, in reality, this is just not how it works. If I agree to work for wages, the company for whom I'm working still needs to make a profit, so I won't be able to be paid all the profit I made for the company because I didn't pay for the supplies, I don't pay the bills to keep the business running, and I don't have to take the risks. So I'm not entitled to the exact profit I make for the company. You say everyone in positions of power are racists or secret racists, but there's no evidence to back it up. It's basically just an allegation with no proof. If I assume the people I'm working for are fascists and racists, even Nazis, but I have no evidence proving it, it's just speculation. So I would be foolish to cut myself off from earning money simply because some people think my higher up are fascists, bigots, and Nazis, but they can't prove it. This view of the world, the economy, the hierarchy of society would definitely validate becoming a leftist socialist if these things were actually true, but there's no evidence of that, so anyone who lives according to such an ideology would be ignorant unless they knew it was false, then they'd be stupid.
So why would you work? Just think about that. Why would you work? You wouldn't.
But the only reason I would purposely avoid working is if these things were actually happening in the real world, which there's no evidence beyond a shadow of a doubt that they are happening. So I need to assume that they aren't happening. Or if I believed in it anyways, even though it isn't happening, which would be ignorance, paranoia, possibly even delusion on my part. Sure, I might not be stupid in that situation, but I would either be ignorant, paranoid, delusional, one or all of the above. It's not that complicated.
If this was true, you wouldn't.
Exactly. That's totally right. That's totally 100% spot on. If this was true, but it isn't.
And there's only two ways that you can escape from this system. The first way is basically by striking it lucky. So you could either marry into wealth or be born in wealth, so, silver spoon in your mouth, or you have somebody take pity on you, who says, hey, let's say a friend or a friend of a friend who happens to be rich, he might, oh, wow, I'm so sorry, here's a good job that you can have, that sort of thing. Or alternatively, winning the lottery. So if you think about all of them, there's no chance, basically. And most people think, no, there's no way out of it, except for the second solution, which is revolution, okay? And that goes two ways. You can either have a violent revolution, which is the one Lenin and stuff like that, and or the peaceful revolution, which is more of the sort of reform. We can reform the system so that the poor get back what has been stolen from them. Okay, so if you've worked, or even if you haven't, because the wealth has been stolen off your parents, don't forget, right? So let's say your father worked in a coal mine back in the 1800s, and he had half his wealth stolen off him by the elite. So therefore, because you're born poor, you are owed that money back. And so the revolution, peaceful revolution or violent, but the peaceful one, it does the system of reform, and the money gets extracted from the rich back to you. So benefits, state benefits, taxes, that sort of thing, those things are targeted at the rich and the powerful and whatever else, because that's the only way to get the money back that's been stolen from you. You see?
Yes, I see how that would work if I had either A, been indoctrinated into leftist socialism, which I haven't, or B, if I lived in an alternate universe where leftist socialist doctrine was true, which I don't, so I'm not owed money by my ancestors' employers, and socialist dogma simply isn't based on reality for the thousandth time. Fuck, that was bad English at the end there, but you get my point.
So I never used to understand when I was a socialist why people would vote for the Conservative Party of the UK or the Republicans of the USA or whatever, the right-wing parties. Especially the poor people. I never, because I could understand why the aristocracy and maybe the farmers or something like that would actually vote for the Conservatives, but I would never understand why people who were poor would vote for the Conservatives. It didn't make any sense. Especially if you're a worker, why would you do that? And so there was either a couple of options. Either they wanted to be like them, so they wanted to exploit people, they wanted to be greedy and racist, or they were ignorant. They just didn't understand. They just hadn't been educated about the glorious socialism. And obviously, the way out of all this is to break down the system and bring in a utopia where we can get our wealth back and everybody can be happy. So, what I need to do as a socialist is tell the Conservatives, guys, you're on the wrong side. You need to stop voting Conservatism and just vote for socialism. Because if you vote for socialism, we stop the racists and everybody gets the wealth and, it's all going to be great. So, come on, guys. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you how glorious socialism is, and I'm going to tell you how bad and evil capitalism is, and that will persuade you, because socialism is obviously the right thing to do. From a socialist point of view, a conservative or a capitalist is somebody who's trying to exploit the socialists, and is somebody who is greedy, evil, whatever else. They are possibly even secret Nazis. And so, they are automatically wrong. And therefore, when a conservative or a capitalist tries to talk to a socialist, or tries to persuade them away from being socialist, what's actually happening there is the capitalist is trying to trick you, right? They've already tricked you into the system that you're in, and they are exploiting you, and they are secret racists. So they are trying to trick you into falling for their ideology. They're trying to convert you into Nazism, or they're trying to exploit you even further and get you to be tricked into accepting the system as it currently is instead of going towards real socialism.
So, what I basically hear you saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that indeed the socialists are ignorant, paranoid, and possibly even delusional, but that's because they're brainwashed. Everyone in their community has indoctrinated them into accepting this socialist dogma, and now that they've completely accepted it, it's not their fault because they're from their point of view, they're correct, and the whole system is out to exploit them or turn them into fucking Nazis. So yes, they are ignorant, because the indoctrination they came to accept is not based on reality, but because they believe it, it's the only philosophy that makes sense to them. So no, they aren't stupid or lazy, they're just brainwashed and therefore ignorant.
And this has proven extremely difficult for me doing this channel, and it's part of the reason why I've burnt out, because in their mind, I'm trying to deceive them, and I'm trying to trick them, right? So I'm automatically wrong, and so what I tried to do, I knew this because I was an ex-socialist, I know what's going on, so I was like, right, there's no way, if I 100% prove it with a ton of evidence, and sources, back it all up with references at the bottom of the screen, there's no way that they could dismiss this. So I tried to overwhelm the opposition with sources, references, bibliography, quotes, notes, evidence, you name it, right? That's why the Hitler Socialism video was 5 hours long. It's full of evidence, right? I tried to do that, but I was ignorant of my own previous way I looked at the world, because they don't even have to look at it because they automatically know I'm wrong, right? Because I must, as a right-winger, I must be trying to deceive them. I must be trying to trick them. And so all that evidence must be faulty somehow, okay? Right-wing authors, well, they're just lying. Biased, agendered. What's all the other ones they bring up? And it's all a way, or I'm selectively quoting, that's another one. I'm selectively quoting, and again, I'm ignorant, or I'm trying to trick you, because obviously I didn't quote from the people that they like, even though I did, and I obviously didn't, I'm just selectively quoting and tricking you somehow. And so this overwhelming of evidence, and putting 18 months worth of work into it, can all just be dismissed. The leftist doesn't even have to look at the video, or any of my other videos. They can just dismiss me and just accuse me of being a Nazi and whatever else. There is actually a guy on YouTube, about 20,000 subscribers, who, partway through his video, just goes like this. Yeah, I think Tick's a secret Nazi.
So basically, what you're saying is that they're ignorant. They lack knowledge on this subject because they've been indoctrinated by a radical political ideology which isn't even grounded in truth. This ideology has them convinced that they shouldn't watch your video because you're secretly a Nazi, but this isn't true. So by definition, it has to be ignorance. And if it isn't ignorance, then it's delusion, paranoia, or stupidity. You can't say that socialists are none of these things when you've just demonstrated that their entire ideology is not based on reality, but that they accept it anyways. I think I understand what you're trying to say. Because they're brainwashed, every action they take is influenced by this indoctrination, and because they accept this indoctrination as true, we must judge them as though it were true, because they're acting on what they believe to be true. The only problem with this is that it isn't true. So socialists are indeed ignorant. They just don't know it. So they're ignorant about being ignorant, which could also make them delusional and paranoid. Am I missing something? Because if I am, please let me know. Like, I was actually scared to respond to this video because your education, Tick's education, is so far superior to mine. His knowledge of politics is so more superior to mine. I learned so much of what I've learned about socialism and about politics and about different authoritarian regimes from Tick history. He's been a huge influence on my political education. So I thought, when this video came out, I thought, there this isn't making sense to me, but there's no way I can make a response to it because clearly I'm just not getting something. But after viewing it several times, I just don't get what he's trying to get at. So yeah, Tick, if you see this, and if I'm missing something, if it's supposed to be satire and it flew over my head, or if there's a point that I just didn't get throughout the entirety of the video. And by the way, for the rest of the context, I'll leave a link in the description so you can watch the full video for yourself. I did watch the full video, but I felt like if I kept responding to what was said, I would just be saying the same things over and over again, which I already basically was throughout this video. So I got nothing but respect for Tick. I'm sure he had a point. I'm sure he had a reason he made that video, but the thing is, like, I can understand if the video was just leftist socialists aren't stupid, and here's why. Yes, it would make sense. But then to also say they're not ignorant, they're not paranoid, they're not delusional, well, they have to be one of those four things. They have to be either ignorant, paranoid, delusional, or stupid. You can't just say they're not stupid, but they're also not ignorant. I feel like a broken record at this point. Again, nothing but love for Tick, and if he makes a video response totally destroying all my arguments, then I'll be grateful for that, because then at least I'll understand what he was trying to get at. So thank you for watching, everybody, and hail, blessed be, have a great day, and yeah, peace out.